Hello, everybody. Good day. This is Albert Campa with the CantinaMX Podcast. Here with Joel. This is episode 221. Glad to be back with you guys on a Friday during the day again. How's it going, Joel?
Doing pretty good, Chickies. Yeah, it's been a lot going on since our previous podcast to now. So much news. Just yesterday, we had a pretty thrilling conclusion to the Clásico del Tráfico with LAFC defeating Galaxy for the first time. And I guess we could say Vela finally getting the best of Zlatan.
Yeah, finally. A lot of people weren't expecting that.
They weren't. And I guess we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, Chiquis, we needed to wish El Rey Pelé a happy birthday. He turned 79 years old 2 days ago, October 23rd. So
Yes.
he's 79, and I was I was going through some archives, and I didn't know he got to play against Chivas when he was at Santos. So he got to play a few matches at the Jalisco, and they played even at the Azteca del Norte at the Los Angeles Coliseum. And but you know what I found more interesting, Chiquis?
Yeah.
Pele came very close to wearing the Chihuahua jersey.
Wow.
We have to, yeah, we have to go back to 1975. So back then, Pele was playing with Santos, and uh, and this team from Mex, which was actually Club Oro, they got bought out, and it was like a company, a syndicate, sugar syndicate. Mexico bought them out, and they renamed them to Gallos Azucareros. Uh, and so they were looking for a franchise player, and this promoter they were talking to, because they were trying to promote the team. He's like, I could bring Pele, but of course they couldn't afford him, and plus he had like some type of contract where he wouldn't play like friendly games, but I don't know how he did it. So they hired him to play a quadrangular in Guadalajara. So it was gonna be he was gonna play for well, he did play for the Gallos, and it was Gallos versus Atlas, and then Chivas versus Leones Negros. And so there was a stipulation there that so it was like a one-off game. So if
Mm.
Chivas made it to the final, but the Gallos they didn't make it, that Pelé was gonna play for Chivas, and but that never happened. Chivas lost to Leones Negros, and the Gallos did make the final, but Pelé he didn't score, man. It's a bit disappointing. He wasn't able to score in the two games. They were full games. They were like 20-minute halves because they did I think they did the whole quadrangular in one that one night.
So this is 1975.
1975, sir.
So
Way back when. But it's interesting
he'd have been
because
30,
even going back
35.
then, you had these big names, So now we look now and we have, just recently in the Clásico, you have Zlatan. He's what, 36, 37 now? How old is he, Chiquis?
I think 38.
He's 30. God dang. Yeah, and he's been the scourge of LA. Uh,
Yeah, he's
but
38.
this could have been his last game with Los Angeles
Pe-
Galaxy.
Pele was 35 when he started his New York Cosmos career. So MLS
Yeah,
career.
so that's about the yeah.
That's about the time for retirement, I guess. MLS retirement.
Well, he helped put football on the map, in the
Yeah.
U.S. because he would sell out stadiums. He showed that football, that it's there's a market for it here in the U.S. And I think that's kind of ties it up right now with what's going on in Los Angeles with two teams, and the LA the LAFC's been selling out, and this matchup was pretty big. It's meant a lot for the fans. It's quickly become a rivalry, and so that's kind of what you need to help the league grow. You need this type of heated rivalries, that just get so much attention. And so it was what eight goals, and with LAFC winning 5-3, and a lot of the matches like that were they've been high scoring games. Even though I've been reading the Twitter sphere and the comments, and a lot of people saying how the defense is non-existent.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. The defense was pretty bad on both sides, I would say.
I saw that GIF you posted the basketball match. Was is that a professional game? What game
That
was
was
that?
that was a pro game, man. It
It
just
was
like in some phases of the game and like the season's really long, people just like sometimes they just hang out a little bit and rest a little bit.
yeah.
Let a guy take
Like
a
I said, it
turnaround
looked
jump shot.
professional. I was like, is that?
Yeah, he was
That's
just resting.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
during the
yeah.
game, there was a few runs where they were able to get in the back behind the defense of the Galaxy, and I think it was Polenta who wouldn't even stretch out his leg to stop the cross, man. And there was a goal he could have uh, prevented that he just let the cross go
Polenta
through. Polenta
from Costa Rica.
from I don't know where he's from. No, he's Uruguayan. Diego Polenta.
Oh man,
He was the defender,
damn.
and he sort of just let the guy, and
God.
he was playing bad last night, and
As
so
John
over
would say, he does not know the dark arts. True
yeah
Uruguayan would have at least gotten yellow carded in a Clásico match.
yeah, and he's 27 years old, so he must have been like a washout from Uruguay. They were like, take this guy, we don't want him.
Bargain bin,
Yeah,
bargain bin.
yeah, it's like second
Yeah,
division teams were like, let's send you to
yeah.
MLS.
Well, there's been this talk about the gap is closing. Obviously, it's not it's not close. When you see the quality of some of these players, it's still very low. But I mean, you can't discredit. These are the things that help build it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So having these type of games, and then with the stakes being higher, start you know not being so, like, the fans are gonna want start expecting more because they don't want to lose these type of games.
Yeah, I got to give props to LA. Like that's the city. If anything in the United States is going to happen and it's going to be involved in soccer, LA is the city for that to happen. And these two teams are doing an excellent job. LAFC is doing an excellent job. That stadium, I was truly impressed. It's actually better than like a
Oh,
lot
that's
of
right. You were
stadiums. I haven't
you
been
were
there.
here recently, Chiquis.
Well, I drove
You
by
guys
it.
passed through the front.
I drove by it, but just on TV watching like seeing the fans and seeing the flags, like several Mexican flags were flying, a Colombian flag I believe was
Yeah, it's
flying.
a lot.
Um,
It's a lot of. Yeah. It's they they became very popular very quick. A lot of our cantineros, they're like, all right, get on with it, get on with the MLS talk. But we like a lot of it has a point when we bring it up, because LAFC will be playing in the, what is it,
Conca
Conca
Champions.
Champions.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and I think that's gonna help. I think a team like them, especially if they still have Vela, which they should, um, is gonna start sparking more interest in MLS type, eh, Liga MX rivalry, which they haven't, with the teams. They kind of haven't been able to do that, and that was kind of the hope with Galaxy. And then when they had Gio and and his brother, but the team ended up doing so bad. I think they missed the playoffs like 2 or 3 years in a row. And so this year they finally made it. And so we have to mention they have, of course, they have, oh man, Dennis DeClose, who left the Mexican national team. Uh, he got he got hired at right there with the Galaxy to be like their general manager. I'm not too sure the position, but he's high up there. Uh, and then he brought in one of Mexico's top youth trainers. His name I forget. Uh, and they got a couple Mexicans there. You know, from Jonah
Tuna,
and Tuna,
tuna
and
fish.
then they have Efrain, the youth, and a goalie. I think the goalie is they have a goalie whose dad was vice president of Chivas. Oh man, I keep forgetting that guy's name.
Pablo Cisniega, is that the guy?
Yes, yes, the dad was Ibar Cisniega, and the kid is a Cisniega too. I think he has like German. He also has like a German passport,
Oh,
so he could go to Europe. But you know, he won't have to suffer the same fate as Ochoa, where it's like, oh, you don't have a passport.
yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, they got quite a few players, and they're gonna be trying to get more. That's one of the big reasons they brought in to close. They especially now with LAFC capturing the Mexican market, which uh, Galaxy tried since day one when they had Campos and they brought Hermosillo, they brought Luis Hernandez. They always kept bringing these players, trying to get these fans, but they just couldn't. They couldn't bring the passion Cienfuegos or Pescadito Ruiz did with the Central Americans. Uh, but LAFC did it with Vela, man, and I think I guess who knows, man. We might see a Chicharo, somewhere down the line, especially if he keeps missing open net sitters uh, with Sevilla. They might they might send them over here in the Christmas break.
Yeah. John's dream is for Chicharito to go to
Austin,
Austin FC, but I don't know if he's saying that
all his
Chicharito is
friends
gonna.
are in LA.
Yeah, I don't know if he's saying
I
Chicharito is gonna
just
go to
know
Austin FC. Just the way he says Picolín is one of the best, greatest players of all time. So I don't, I don't know.
no, Chicharo's very close to like Vela and Dos Santos and all them, and I think they'll be good in LA. You know what I mean?
Well, I just want to say this though.
They'll go live in Brentwood
Yeah,
with Vela.
I agree, but I just want to say I hope because the Conca Champions is February of next year. I hope they keep this LAFC team together, like all the players, because
Well,
this is the
they
team I
will
want to
because
see play against the Mexican League teams.
well, Chiquis, if anything, they're gonna get stronger. They're gonna get one or two better players, most likely a defender, midfielder. Thinking they're pretty good at attack right now. But from what we saw, yeah, they need a defender or two, especially if they want to do not get embarrassed in the Conca Champions. But yeah, I want to see Vela. I just want to see Vela play against Mexican teams. I just want to see how he does, against these Mexican teams because we might not see him play in Liga MX, but he might. There's still that chance he might join America, and that's been talked on for
Ooh, that'd be a
pretty
slap
much
in the
since
face.
since he. Well, they've been recruiting him. They've been recruiting him, so that could happen. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. But then, while we're on Conca Champions, FIFA just announced the new and improved Clubs World Cup, which is going to be more of an actual World Cup with way more teams now. I believe 24 teams.
Ah, you're talking about not the Qatar
No, well,
or not the
Qatar's gonna
Qatar.
host this year and next year, and starting 2021, I think China's gonna be the first host. But there's like a new and improved Clubs World Cup,
Maybe that's the
so
2021.
yeah, it is 24 teams, 8 teams from Europe, 6 from South America, 3 from CONCACAF. So maybe we'll see Vela there. Uh, 3 from Africa, 3 from Asia, and 1 from Oceania. So
Not
yep,
bad. They can take it
2021.
more serious.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna play out. But should be fun. Hopefully, should be fun. Especially if they do it like in the summer. You know.
Yeah, because the way it is now, they're so small. There's so few teams, and it's so quick of a tournament that it's like, okay,
Yeah. Well, cause it happens right when all the teams ended their season
yeah,
and they're just trying to rest or you have injuries or whatnot. So
yeah,
they just make it as quick as possible. But if you make it maybe during like the summer break when a lot of the teams are doing like their preseason tours, this could kind of be their like preseason.
yeah. All right, so I guess to cap off the Tráfico talk, it was interesting to see that before the game, unlike last game, Vela and Zlatan didn't really talk too much to the press. They didn't really hype up the game and talk smack. And even though Zlatan did score one
But
goal, he didn't seem to be his same huge self and carrying his team. And I thought there was going to be like some rough play at the end, but he seemed to walk off calmly. I think he did like do an obscene gesture to some fans or something. uh,
he did when he
as,
was leaving.
yeah, when he was leaving. So
He grabbed
and
it.
then at the end he did mention that he made Vela famous, which is causing a little bit of a
He,
stir.
that was his thing. Well, you know what? You know what? It was the press that was baiting them for that. So who knows? The league could have talked to them and just been like, cut it out. Because I think it was annoying Zlatan. He's
Yeah,
like, dude, this is like beneath me. And even Bella said it like, I don't, with the comparisons, I'm not. Even he said it that Zlatan is the overall better player. So I think at that point it would have just been I I don't know, I wouldn't say trolling, but it would have been beating a dead horse. So who knows? They could have told him like, all right, no more questions. We did see Bob Bradley get a bit salty. That one that one reporter was trying to bait him, saying people are saying that Vela doesn't show up for big games, and Bradley's like, what people? And then the reporter couldn't name names. Tells him to get lost. So
that
yeah,
yeah, I was sort of confused with that question, but like I was like, what games? And I assume he's talking about the last Tráfico, where Vela. I think well, Vela did score like a. I think he
he
scored one
did
or two,
score.
right? Yeah, he scored one or
Yeah, but
two,
they had
but then he got
they
smoked.
they no, yeah. The thing is, they had never beaten the Galaxy, and
Yeah,
so it was like I think they were undefeated at the bank, but they had lost the other games. But I guess I think they lost last time their first playoffs. I don't know, Chiquis.
yeah, they didn't.
You're gonna start losing fans if you don't
I forget who they
you
lost
don't.
to. They did lose, obviously, but
Yeah.
yeah, it sounds like he's truly motivated for. He wants the league. He didn't. He wasn't. Vela's not satisfied for this win. He wants the league title, and I don't think he's. I think he's going to get it. I think he's going to win the title, and this is going to
Yeah.
be his like equivalent of World Cup victory. Man, he doesn't need the Mexican national team.
Well,
He
he doesn't have a league. He doesn't have a league title. This will be his first league title ever.
yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's also his first goal scoring title. So it's a lot of firsts for Vela. So yeah, this guy's he's loving it here. He's
That
not
bring
leaving anytime soon.
Yeah, that brings up
Uh,
some thoughts. Like, don't ever. Okay, just think. Vela, first title with MLS, first goal scoring title with MLS.
I,
The
I know where you're
comparisons,
going with this, Chiquis.
the comparisons with Vela and Hugo Sanchez should never occur from here on out.
Okay.
As like greatest Mexican player, should never happen.
Oh,
Should
well, I
never.
mean, well, there's no one right now in Liga. I mean, no Mexican players that get close to what Hugo Sanchez did. So that's yeah, it's gonna be a long time,
Yeah,
very long time.
I'm sure they'll come up though. I'm
Yeah,
sure. I'm sure they might pop up.
unless JJ Mack, but who knows? Who knows? Uh, he's still young. A
Yeah.
ver qué.
All right. So I think that caps off the Tráfico talk. I don't know of any other points from there. We can continue on to, I guess, over this past weekend, San Luis had a little bit of a ruckus going on,
San Luis Querétaro, yes, it
and
was hell in a
Alfonso
cell
lost.
match.
Shoot,
That was
man.
no holds barred, false count anywhere, battle royal. It was damn, yeah. Hell broke loose in the
Ground and
stands.
pound.
So I, I don't know how it started. When I tune in, I just saw fists flying, and so this is what I do know, Chiquis. Uh, there's a couple, there's a couple bad moves made. So basically the fans started fighting, and then I think the police was scared to get involved, and they told the fans, the barra, one of the barra bravas, like, hey, you guys are gonna have to go help your mate that's getting murdered over there, because we're like outnumbered. And then that just turned the fight even bigger.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then I think the stadium marshal, or I don't know the correct name, he told the people to go into the field for like safety. So that just caused more pandemonium. But yeah, there was this one guy, man, some chubby guy who he was already on the ground and they kept kicking him. It looked like some dudes would run from pretty far just to go and land a punch on him. He was he's already not moving. It's
Yeah,
like, why are they still kicking him? Are they expecting candy to come out?
that's incredible about how a human can see like a obviously knocked out, injured dude on the ground and still go over and want to pound his head in. But I did see a clip
Yeah,
of. I was gonna say I did see a clip of
just
a Querétaro dude. He was in the stands with his jersey on. I don't know if he was instigating or provoking anything, but I think he switched out his jersey to like a generic shirt. I don't know if that was like the beginning of of all the stuff that started happening, but
are you saying he was a cambiarrayas?
he didn't put on any other rayas, but
He,
uh, I
he
think he put on
switched
like
it.
just a regular T-shirt. I don't
Yeah,
think he went full Juan.
I don't know. He was trying to fool, man. There's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So today the league is going to talk about sanctions and whatnot. I think.
Oh, they already gave sanctions to San Luis and Querétaro. I can read them off if you want. I got them on the
Yes,
screen.
please
Uh,
do.
so veto de estadio for two games. So San Luis is going to be an empty stadium for the next two games. Multa de 6,000. I guess that's pesos. Umas. I don't know what that is. Un
With
mill.
6,000 pesos, that's like $10 in Dave and Buster tokens.
Shoot, man. Well, it says una multa de 6,000 umas. I don't know what umas is. Un millón. Oh, no, I don't know what the umas is. And then they're putting prohibitions on las porras.
Oh man,
And
yeah, they're
selling
gonna
tickets
ban
to
him.
selling tickets to allowing opposing team porras to enter their stadiums for the rest
Wait,
of the
for just
season.
for the end of the season?
Yeah,
Okay.
until the end of the season. That's on both teams, except Gallos Blancos. They don't, Querétaro don't have to. Uh, they don't have
You know
the
what they
stadium
usually do
ban.
is they register, and I wouldn't be surprised if they start doing that.
Oh
What
yeah,
they do is if you're, whatever barra brava,
yeah,
whatever cheering group belongs to the team, um, all the fans of that group get registered, and because they pretty much have season tickets, at least for the home, at home. So whatever happens, they kind of know who. They already know the section and who's supposed to be there.
yes.
So I don't know. They might have to start doing that.
They're gonna San Luis is, at least they came out with a press release saying that they're doing like 4 or 5 uh, techniques or whatever to control the situations, and that's one of them is to uh, check the credentials of each porra from each club and make sure that they're legit and they're not, there to cause any fights and stuff, I
And, and
guess.
and that might, because you know what, they started doing that at the World Cup now, where um, you get registered and you kind of have a badge. So going into the stadium, they have all your info. Once you go in, they already know where you're at. And so I could see that happening somewhere down the line with a lot of the teams in CantinaMX, especially with the whole corner kick chant, which they've been, I would say, semi-successful in eradicating it.
Yeah.
But I could just see that happening as it becomes just easier to do it with technology and whatnot.
Yeah, and that's I guess moving on to that, the goalkeeper chant, that's something that they've had a press conference, I think just a few minutes ago or an hour ago.
Another another conference on that, Chiquis.
Yeah, this is a different this San Luis situation came out I think earlier this week, but today they had a
Do you have
press
the
conference on. Actually, they talked about two things. Well, from what I saw, they talked about the Veracruz players getting paid, and then they talked about that week 15 is here. As they said previously, the goalkeeper
yeah?
chant restrictions are now going to be in place. I guess it's
Oh, now they're
if it does occur, they're going to take 2 minutes to find whoever does it and kick them out of the stadium. And I think it's a three strike, where if it happens 3 times still, then
god dang.
the next game is going
It,
to be an empty
you know
stadium.
what? And that's how they catch you. Like if they start putting those, like, if you have those credentials, it's usually like it comes like in a necklace, uh, and it's like a big square,
Yeah.
the carton. And but dude, it's like pretty soon they're gonna be able to know how many beers you drank and what you ate. Man, you think it's I'm not joking, man. This is you're in your seat, you order stuff through your phone, through an app, and you get your beer mixed with water. At
Yeah,
and
they're
what
gonna
happened, Chiquis?
they're gonna put a chip in your neck,
No, it's
get your
not on the
DNA.
neck.
I know.
It's on the it's on the credencial, but if it's all like connected, um, they're just gonna know what's up, man.
Yeah, they can't give
They're gonna
every
start
single
sending
fan.
you comps like the casinos, huh?
They can't give that to every single fan though. For Las Porras maybe, but for the
Dude, they
fans,
do it, Chiquis. They do it for the World Cup.
every single fan gets one of those things.
Every fan has you get registered and you have like a credencial. Because I was looking, I was looking at, and I noticed it for the Russia one, and I was looking at a picture, and I thought it was people, because it looks like the press, when you get the press pass, and I was like, that's a lot of press in the stands. And then I kept looking at the pictures, and everyone had one, and you basically have to register now, and it says what tickets you have and everything. They have all your info, chiquis.
Yeah, so that's
They know when your kid's birthdays, everything, man. You know,
it's Mexico though,
yeah.
man. You can bypass that stuff. You can change your name, get a new ID.
So you mean go to the Fayuca and
Yeah, get your buy a ticket from the guy on the street selling them.
Yeah, but you're gonna need the fake credencial, not just the ticket, because it's tied. It has to match.
Ah, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna happen. That's gonna be interesting this weekend. We'll see what goes on if the 2 minutes. Like I imagine potentially every single game, if they pay attention, should have 2 minutes, 2 minute breaks. Because you are right, like you said before, the chant has decreased, but it's still out there very, even though it's quieter than before.
Well, wasn't one in one stadium? Weren't they playing something on the loudspeakers
I think so. I didn't
to
see that.
drown out? Like,
Yeah, I think I've heard that. I didn't see it myself, but yeah, I've heard that
yeah,
that was happening.
I know one stadium had little kids. They had little kids looking into the crowd, you know,
Oh,
to like, and then they were giving like yellow cards or something. Like if they heard it from that section, they will like lift up a yellow card or something.
yeah. So like if MLS teams act all holier than thou, it does happen in MLS as well. I've said it before. Like when I was in San Luis or in San Luis, San Jose,
San Luis, yeah,
San Jose earthquakes.
St.
There
Louis,
were
Missouri.
there's a St. Louis, Missouri. Do they have a team? No, there's people in San Jose in the stadium there that does it as well. It's not a lot, but
Yeah,
it
were
does
they
exist.
Mati sympathizers? They
Probably.
were they there to see Mati?
Uh,
Tricolored flags.
no, well,
Um,
any person that's there for watching soccer is most likely Mexican.
yeah. Oh man. Yeah. No, you've heard it in stadiums here too. Um, but yeah, no, it just became a big thing with Mex. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how this week plays out. And so match week 15 already, season's coming to an end pretty soon. Regular season, I should say.
Yeah, it's getting down there. Uh, so yeah, before do you want to so week 15 sanctions? Do you want to talk Peláez?
Yes, but just very quick, Veracruz, because
Oh,
they
Veracruz.
still haven't won. They won Copa MX, but they haven't won league. And so yeah, I guess they're gonna get some money. So that should be, you know, that should
Yeah,
motivate the lads a little bit. Uh, and and then yeah, Pelaez Chivas signed Pelaez. Well, they didn't sign him because they can't sign him right now. It's a league rule. If player, coach, directivo, if you were with one club, you have to wait until the season ends to sign with another club. But Chivas did make it official that they have come to an agreement for Pelaez to take over as, I guess, general manager, director deportivo, if I'm not mistaken. But he's gonna be more of a vice president. I don't know why they didn't just give him that title, um, because there's basically no one that's gonna be able to tell him what to do. Just above him is gonna be a Mauri, and Elias already, he drew the line in the sand. Doesn't want the same thing that happened at Cruz Azul, where they make decisions without him, and he would just book it if that happened. And I don't think Amauri's in that position right now. The team has just lost a lot of money. This is like their fifth. I don't know if it's their fifth or sixth. I've been trying to block the paint, Chiquis. This is going to be either the fifth or sixth tournament without Liguilla. That's a lot of money that they lose. Just how much money you could make from not just TV and sponsors, but also stadium of playing Liguilla. And I mean, if you add it up, you know, just top of my head, what are we looking at, Chiquis? Anywhere from 5 to 10 million.
I have no idea how that stuff works. That's a lot of money though, if that
Yeah,
is
I
true.
mean, and I'm keeping like a small, you know, I'm keeping it pretty decent. But yeah, you're missing a lot of money, and then they lost money from no TV contract in the U.S. this season. That was anywhere between 14 and 16. I mean, and between all the liguillas lost, man, you're looking at at least over 20 million that they did not make. So Chivas almost going the Veracruz route, where the players are gonna have to sleep in the stadium and don't get their bonuses, no bonuses and no checks for 6 months. Uh, so yeah, that's so yeah, they need to just let Peláez work. And so the big thing for Chivas, I'll say, and to me even bigger than if they can make liguilla or not, I don't think that should matter for Chivas fans. I think if you're a Chivas fan, the big concern is going to be TV contract. That's they're going to be negotiated in December, um, and it could be very lucrative because they're going to be negotiating both U.S. and Mex, and they could potentially land a lot of money. There's a slight chance they might not make as much, just hearing some of the details, what's going on. Uh, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm guessing they're in line to do good, especially if they went for Pelaez. So hopefully that works out. And if Chivas does land that, they could put the team back on track.
Yeah, they need something. So Chivas is pretty much. Let me look at the games for those guys. I think they're pretty much out of it. They have Toluca. Oh no, they have Juarez actually coming up. So it's gonna be
Oh, their next match.
yeah, their next match is
They said at home.
no, it's away. It's away at Juarez. So
It's at Juarez or is it at the Akron?
No, it's in
Because they played Monterrey away, but sometimes you do end up playing 2 away games
yeah, it's away.
or 2 home games.
It's away at Juarez on Sunday.
Yeah, okay. Okay, well, they need to win at this point because Chivas, their last match, they tied Monterrey, who have Turco, and he came back to La Pandilla, and well, didn't seem like much improvement, but there he is. So, but for Chivas now, I think they have 5 games left. They have to win every single one if they want to go into playoffs. So I think if they beat Juarez, at least for another week, they give some hope to the Chi hermanos. Gonzalo can rest. I don't think he ever gets much rest, but he could not feel so bad.
Real quick, there was a part of that press conference that they had. Enrique
Yes.
Bonilla said, "Oh, I guess they just mentioned that they're intending to go to 20 teams."
20 teams.
Yeah, he said it's a topic that they've had on the table for analysis for a
They
while,
have had
and
it.
they hope to get an answer soon.
I said it as a joke in the other podcast. Chiquis is a Chivas contingency plan. That way they can't get relegated because they just keep bringing up teams.
Yeah,
And the new teams, as bad as Chivas could be, if the new team is as bad as like, Juarez or Veracruz, those teams are just gonna keep, that's a good strategy.
yep.
Of course, I'm joking.
Bring in more teams. There's memes about that stuff, man. There's memes about
Yeah, I'm just
Chivas tanking.
messing. Relegation's a joke in Mexico. It's been a
Yeah.
joke for a long time. I don't see why it's being taken serious. I think, and for a long time, I did want more teams. I'm not too sure right now, but if you really wanted like if we wanted to talk about like where the relegation fight was like the real deal, which was intense, then they would have to go down to like 16 teams. You know, just go down, not you keep going up. The only thing that happens is you end up getting more teams that aren't that strong, and the mid-table to higher ups just have more cushion.
Yeah, I would say go down, man.
What happened
I would say go down
in clubs?
in clubs in the league and get rid
The
of
one
some of the less.
positive though, Chiquis, is you will have more Mexican players.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if it's a handful, but you'll end up with more local talent getting a chance. So that's one good thing right there.
Even though it's if it's an obscure team that's getting like whipped every weekend or something like that. I guess that's something that's sort of good.
Well,
With a good second division though, you would have a fight to ascend. Like you would the whole
yeah,
problem I think with relegation is no one wants to get relegated, and everyone wants their excuse and wants to like convince for more teams or convince their fight their way. Like the whole thing of paying to get your way back in, that's sort of that's wrong. Like if you're relegated and if you don't get results, then go down and work yourself back up,
well,
because that gives second
we,
division actually to be competitive and the guys that are in there to actually try hard and not just be
but
there
yeah.
and like in the
Well, there needs to be more incentives though for from the league and for the second division because there's just not that much money, and the teams they don't like compared to like England. So England second division, what is it, the championship? They get a lot of money from the TV rights. That's just that's just not happening in Liga de Ascenso. There's almost no money, and a lot of those clubs they they don't have money. They don't have the type of money to build a good strong team. And the way it's gotten now in Mex, it's like it's gotten way more expensive. So you'll need to invest about 60 million on your team if you want to like compete. I think that's what we saw with Cholos when they came up and they ended up winning. I think that was a bit of an anomaly, and I don't think we're going to see anything like that anytime soon. I mean, it would be pretty rare, but you just can't do it no more. The way if you go back to like the 90s and you had like Celaya getting to the final and these other clubs, but the teams were a bit more, we could say we were a bit more even. But now with just the amount of money that's being spent by teams like Monterrey, Tigres, all these the bigger clubs, Cruz Azul, it just makes it way more difficult.
yeah. So I guess in certain aspects, the Liga MX is you can say is a little bit Mickey Mouse, man, in the way in the way they handle the
No, it
sense
is.
on.
I mean, look, the, what's happening with Veracruz and players not
Yeah,
getting paid for 6 months,
yeah.
and their morale is through the floor, and they're on a what 38 game winless streak, but they're still in first even though they've been relegated. That makes it look Mickey Mouse. That a team like Jaguares was kind of in the same boat, and but the league disbanded them, you know. So and then we had with Lobos Buap, who just couldn't have money. They couldn't even get a TV contract. I think their last season in Primera, they had to sell the team. Then they sell it to Juarez, who who wasn't even one of the top teams from Liga de Ascenso. They were one of the, I think, mid-table to bottom. So yeah, all of these little things make the league pretty Mickey Mouse. Ultimately, it's only about 5 teams that are putting money and trying to make it really competitive.
Yeah, so I guess since we're on the topic of the league, I guess we can go over the matchups for this weekend. Today, there's three.
Yes.
We have three
Oh man.
games.
Okay.
It's, Monarcas. First is Monarcas and Santos.
Monarca Santos and Santos has been killing it. So yeah,
Then we have Atlas Necaxa, another top.
Necaxa, okay. And Necaxa is their top three right now, if I'm not mistaken, Chiqui.
Necaxa's top in second spot. just
They're in
below,
second. See,
just
God
below
dang.
Santos. And then we have
And then
third
what gets?
game, which is going to be a good one. Cholos and Veracruz. So again, we get to
Oh,
see Veracruz, see what they can do in Tijuana.
see if that they got promised their money, if they could finally get that win. I know it's gonna suck for a while if you're the team that lost, that finally loses to Veracruz. You know,
That's yeah, that's the interesting thing about it is who's going to be the failure to let Veracruz beat them.
that's like the hot chick that gets drunk at a bar and some random schlub gets to smash, and then she's gonna pretend it didn't happen. She's like, "Oh, I was drunk.
Oh
I
my
blacked out." Like,
god.
did you hear the story where this girl thought she slept with? I don't know if this is real or this is from. She thought it was like Denzel Washington, because she was like it was some dude. He he like just kind of
He faked it. He faked it out.
okay. We're getting off topic.
Yeah. I
We
get you. I
got
get
off
what you're
topic.
saying. I've heard that story, but maybe it was a different person, like a different actor or something. That it lookalikes.
Yeah.
There's lookalikes all over the place. Like the one that comes to mind is the Star Wars guy, the stormtrooper. He was hanging around
Okay.
Mexico. There's a lookalike that he was around in Mexico. Like some friends of mine got to meet him. He's a lookalike guy.
Okay. And he was pretending to be thin.
Well, he wasn't pretending, but he was just like doing. I don't know what he was doing. Some type of promotion
There
or
was
something.
there there was a dude that looked ballpark Neymar, and he did sleep with a couple females.
Mm.
He would just they, and yeah, I guess if you have like ballpark and you're at a bar or club and people are like shit faced, yeah, they don't know, man. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be. Let's see. Will Cholos get smacked?
Shut for Cholo. Oh, okay. Next, on Saturday, we begin with Querétaro Pumas. So Pumas is sort of on the edge of Liga. Querétaro's top three. They're in third spot. Then after that, we have America Puebla, and America's
Yes, I think this
is
is the good game for America to bounce back.
yeah. They're gonna still be without Piojo. I think he was suspended
Gio,
3 games. Gio is
he's
practicing again. I don't think he's gonna play,
yeah,
but he's
missing
back
a
up.
chunk of his leg.
Yeah.
And,
And then Leon San Luis as well on Saturday.
okay,
And then I guess the final is a pretty good game. Tigres Cruz Azul. That's gonna
that
be
one will be yeah, and that's a big game for Cruz Azul, just because they're still on the outside looking in, and they need to start racking up more points. They lost to Morelia, which was embarrassing. It's an embarrassing loss for them, especially coming out of a big win against Ame. So this is going to be really big test, Chiquis. I think if they lose, I might have to side with you and say that they're going to stay out of the big dance,
yeah.
which for be somewhat of a win for Pelias.
Yeah. And Tigres is they're in fifth spot, so they need to be careful. They don't want to get bumped out.
Yeah,
So it's a
well, they
sort of a
already got those freebie goals, and they got the freebie goals against Veracruz. Veracruz was staging their protest, and they wanted 3 minute silence. Tigres was like, "We thought you said one." They started scoring goals. It was like that's the old just the tip argument.
I posted a GIF of Floyd Mayweather. Did you see that fight? And he fought some guy, or I don't follow boxing too much. I think it's Sergio Ortiz.
Oh
They're
wait, I
they're fighting,
yeah, go on.
and I guess they did it. Ortiz headbutted him, so the ref separated them, and then Ortiz
But
went to
then the ref's looking. Why
well,
does the ref look outside of like he takes his eyes from the fighters? He's looking outside. I don't know if he's looking to the to the judges,
oh
right?
I don't. Yeah, he might have been doing
Yeah,
something else. But they were. He separated the fight though. He was like, oh, he paused the fight, and yeah, he might have been doing something else, like you said. But Ortiz was pretty much like, okay, we're not fighting. I'm gonna give him a hug, saying I'm sorry. And while he did that,
yeah.
he wasn't paying attention.
And
Was it
then
Mayweather like knocked him right in the chin? He was stunned,
yeah,
and then
sucker
he
punched him.
sucker punched, and then he took the right and knocked him down and won the fight. So
Also, they made the count and
yeah, he was
they
counted
made
out.
it valid,
Yeah, yep. So undefeated
but
Floyd
they
Mayweather.
didn't review, no VAR, no nothing.
No VAR. No. Yeah, he won.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about. I'm like, what would the protocol be there? But yeah, man,
I think that
that
was
was savage.
yeah, that was like the justification, and the same thing goes with Tigres is you're there to play. You're not there to sit around. Like when the time is starts, the game starts, you're not there to sit around, and you're there to win, you're there to play.
You know what? I'm agree with that, and I think that protest was pretty lame. The whole we're just gonna stand in silence. I think
Yeah.
that's just like lame. I, especially with the whole players union, supposedly formed by uh, Rafa Marquez, one of the biggest names in Mexican football, and they needed to suspend. Like they needed all the players because that's what it is, a union of players. So
Yeah.
they all needed to unite, you know, like Voltron, come together and you know,
Form the
and
robot.
and been like, we're not playing until these guys get their money. No one's playing, but that didn't happen. No one really cared. It's like they were calling and no one was picking up the phone. They were sending the messages on Messenger, and they would just show that they read them, but no replies.
I keep
And
I keep
that's
on.
it, dude. That sucks. No one.
Yeah.
I think just Chivas said, you know what? If you guys don't get paid, we won't play Liguilla, and
But I don't
that
think
was
Chivas
about
even
it. But
the Chivas games they didn't even take the 1 minute, or did they? On their Sunday game. I don't think they took the one
no, I
minute.
think they did.
They did?
Some of
Okay.
them did, but that's so stupid. That's weak sauce, man.
It is,
That's
and
come on, man.
all this is making me
That's
think of
like take a timeout for 5 minutes.
yeah, it's making
You
me
know,
think
you
that Cootie has a quote against a reporter. I won't say it exactly. He said he didn't have long pants. He didn't have the eggs.
oh, he didn't have the testicular fortitude.
Yeah, testicular fortitude, and that's a lot of like all these players, like especially Veracruz. They should not have even gone out to the game and played. If you're not getting paid,
No,
you do not go and play until you're paid. And they didn't have the pantalones to do that. And all these
yeah,
other
but
clubs,
what sucks is no one backed them up. No one, the whole league should have backed them up, and they didn't.
yeah,
This fake union, that's what it is. It's fake. It's like if you're in a gang and you're about to fight, and you show up by yourself, and then you just get jumped.
all the league did
Like
is
it's
try
a
to band-aid
rumble.
it. They tried to band-aid it and
It's,
paid the players some money. Like that's pretty much like a okay, so they're not paying you. Let's the league will pay you a little bit until they catch up. It's like an emergency fund or like a band-aid to try to help things out.
emergency fund. They're giving them coupons, free meals, like get a 6-inch sub and
A gift certificate at the
dos
local
chescos from Oxxo.
at the local Oxxo. Lo-
Cardoxo's tiendita. You gotta go all over town and cash in all these vouchers.
They get a
You go
a little
2 for
swag
1
bag
Yogurtland.
when they're leaving after they lose. They get a swag bag, a
Swag
swag,
bag.
a Pirata Fuentes swag bag as they leave the stadium.
The other clubs send them what do they call those packages? Care
Care
packages.
care
And
packages. We're
the
thinking
care
of you.
package, you
We
get a
wish.
bolsita with like a soap, you know, an eraser, and it'll have like the America logo.
Oh,
The tiny soaps, the tiny shampoos, and you get some spam, bunch of canned food from Chivas, some
jeez.
expired Chivacolas,
Oh
and
my
some
god.
polvos from OmniLife, dietary supplements.
Even some snacks instead of like the what are those snacks? The pinguinos.
It's like there's a lot
You,
of snacks.
instead of the pinguinos,
Taquisuelo with
you get the generic
free
brand,
polvo.
the generic brand
Oh, the
pinguino.
The off-brand stuff.
If there even is such a
The
thing.
Dino Bites. Oh man, that sucks. They
All
do
right.
food drives and clothing drives.
Poor guys. So continuing on the league on Sunday, Toluca plays Pachuca and Juarez plays Chivas. Last two games.
I just before we go, because that's reminding me, and I used to play Sunday Pub League, and I played with this team, and their name was Irapuato. That's what where the family was from. They had the Freseros uniform, which is pretty cool. It was like a red and blue, and they had the little bimbo bear
Hmm.
in the center. And so we would play on Sundays, and the guy that ran the team, this dude, man, he forgot to wash the uniforms. So, so because Sunday pub team, you finish playing,
Yeah, one guy
and a
takes it.
lot of times, like a lot of times you paid for your uniform, so you keep your own. But then there's some teams where the uniform belongs to the club, to the team owner, especially if it's like a new team or whatever. So he'll have like a whole uniform, and a lot of times also because if you have matching, how like the other team might have a similar color, so they'll keep like the second uniform. So in that team, we didn't own the uniform, and this dude he forgot to wash it, man. So it sat in a bag for like a whole week, and so we couldn't get to play, and it took it like that. It was nasty, cheekies. Smelled
Yeah.
like feet and ass,
That's
and we had
gross.
to wear that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but we had to wear that uniform for 90 minutes. It already smells nasty, and then you're sweating on it on top of it.
Yeah.
I think it helped us win though. The marking must have been bad. Like, they didn't
Yeah.
want to man mark us.
It was like Zlatan
We
playing
we
against
were
a
like that.
5'8" player.
We were like that hobo team because it's a hobo World Cup.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh,
Hobo
yeah.
World Cup. Yeah. You gotta be inclusive.
Okay, where were you?
So finally, I guess unless there's anything else on the league, the last topic, I guess
Did
you want to
we
talk.
go through all the teams already?
Yeah, the last two teams were or the last two games were Toluca and Pachuca and Juarez and Chivas.
Okay,
Toluca's
just really quick. Toluca has been on a pretty
they're in 17th place.
downward spiral, and we said it here a lot of times about how the directiva, they're not like the other teams where they'll just fire you and replace you. So like Chivas right now, they're actually have on the payroll four coaches. They're still paying Mati. They're paying Cardoxo, Thomas Boy, and now they just started paying Tena. So at least until the end of the year, they're gonna be paying for four coaches. So Toluca doesn't, they don't play games like that. They're a bit more calm, and if you suck, they give you ample time to improve, and if not, they'll sort of take their time to find a good replacement. So who knows if Bigoton, it could be sad, he's had a long career, so I just don't see where he could end up. Chiquis, like he's pretty washed up
Yeah.
in Liga MX. He really hasn't done anything of note. Been pretty, it's not all been his fault, but do you see him retiring or do you see him ending up here in MLS?
Uh, I want to say retire. I mean, I've never been a fan of him, but I'd like to not see him as much, especially if he's not even doing well. MLS would be like a lot of times people think, oh, if you can't hang in Liga MX, okay, let's just go to MLS where you can probably do better. I don't
Well, I mean,
see.
because he has some of the fame, and then it's kind of sad when you see like some of the coaches they don't want to give up the dream.
Yeah,
So we saw Carlos Reynoso, big America icon, and he's in Liga de Ascenso. So it's like it kind of sucks, to be, well, a little bit, not a lot, but if you if you achieve, if you got into a level, at least where like La Volpe, where you've been to a World Cup and you've coached all these big teams. When you're at the twilight of your career, you don't want to be like, you know, in looking for scraps.
Well, I think his next steps were like, because he was for a while doing like YouTube channel. Like, if he was a philosopher type guy and go on Picante or like radio TV shows, I think getting his insights on the game and things would be a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I do it in Picante and with Hugo there, that's ratings gold.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
That would be
we're
interesting.
we're we're adelantando la noticia right here, Chiquis, La Volpe in TV, and I know there's some of those waiting for him, especially the other station with the Fox with their drunk. Uh, what is it? Those
Chocho.
guys keep showing up drunk to the Fox Sports. What is it called? Última Palabra? What is
Última
that like
palabra.
show called? The
Yeah,
only one I like there is Brailovsky. And then they've had a couple dudes that just get a bit tipsy.
that was what the choch was it chochos when they're the Faitelson was fighting with the Anda
Oh, that's
about
right.
getting about
Was it?
being
Was
drunk
it?
and then and then with the chochos taking his medications or whatever. There's always
Oh
drama. There's
man,
always good drama when like a guest comes on, like Garces or
Elias.
Pelaez. If they can have maybe not maybe like as a guest at first. Uh, what's his name? Is now I just forget. Toluca coach. Who are we talking about? If they bring La
Toluca
Volpe
coach
on,
is La Volpe.
if they bring La Volpe on like as a guest and then like maybe a panelist even more times, that might be pretty good stuff.
Yeah. Well, just in closing with the Chivas, of course, must win. But the big news coming out, big rumor, I should say, is that Trophies has been given the axe. That they already done had enough. No
Oh,
more
what?
trophies.
Wait.
Yeah,
I
they're
didn't hear
saying
this.
that.
What's going on?
So from the rumors from the lavadoras
Oh,
that
lavadora.
that basically trophies is not. They don't want trophies for next season.
Ah, shoot.
They're getting rid of him, which is not that surprising because they were already trying to sell him before Boy came in, and Boy was like, I could use him. I want to work with him, and that's a big reason they let him stay. But the other reason, this is where I've gotten in a few arguments with Chiva Hermanos, is is what I'm saying. You really don't hear about any offers or interest from any clubs because he is a talented player. But talented players like that, usually, there's teams that want them because they know what they bring to the table. So how come we haven't heard of a Tigres or Monterrey or Cruz Azul or any of these teams saying, "Hey, we'll give you this much for trophy"? We just haven't. So we'll see. I'm pretty curious to see what's gonna happen there for next season and where trophies will end up. We'll see how much he's valued. Would he be at Cruz Azul or is he gonna be at like Juarez? You know,
Yeah, that's gonna be good, interesting. I would definitely want him. I wouldn't doubt if he could, or he has the potential to light up with another team.
he does. He just has a really bad track record of just like indiscipline off the field, indiscipline, too much partying, too much like just being distracted.
Yeah,
And one of the things that we saw was when Cardoso was coach, when he pulled him to the side when the team were training, and that was one of the training sessions when there was reporters, and so it caught attention because he stayed with them talking for a really long time. So I have to wonder what was it that you know did to smell like vodka or something.
yeah,
I'm just guessing here, of course,
coming,
but
coming to
but
work stumbling.
Cardoso wasn't going to pull him to the side because he's not doing the practice right. It had to be something that he felt was that important,
Yeah,
especially to keep him that long on the side.
interesting. Yeah, we'll see. That news from the lavanderas. That sounds like some news that'll extract some tears from the Chiva hermanos from the Chivas del Norte.
Yeah,
You should
and Yon. Well,
yeah.
maybe not Yon, because what if he ends up at Puma?
Ooh, that is a good
Trophies?
Trophy
I mean,
Pumas would be
you guys are getting second division Uruguayan players. Why
yeah,
not a trophies?
yeah. Maybe he devalued a bit. You could get him for cheap.
He's probably right.
Pumas has to look for quarters in the underneath the sofa cushions to be able to pay for
He-
trophies.
Yeah, no, but I think US is eager to get rid of him. So, but I think a change in venue would do him good. So let's hope it goes well for him because it would be sad to see his career, dwindle away. So much talent.
Yeah. All right. So that's the league. I
Yeah,
guess
it
we can close it out. Thanks for coming
tutu
on
fruit.
the podcast. I guess the last real quick note: FIFA Mexico's at 11. I don't take that too much
Oh,
into
that's
consideration.
right. How did? Well, we have to, Chiquis. We have to
Yeah, let me hear your
for
take
one
on this.
reason and one reason only, huh? It's because you could get seeded. The higher you are, you could be one of the seeded teams for the World Cup. So that's very important, Chiquis. You want to try to be in that race to get seeded. I mean, it won't be easy, but at least you want to be. It looks good, Chiquis. But if you're seeded, that means your odds of quinto partido are greater than.
That's good. So yeah, they're just ahead of Netherlands. Colombia's 10th, Argentina's ninth, Spain is 8th. Who else is behind them? Italy is 15th, Germany is 16th, Chile is 17th. So yeah, you got some. Yeah, seeding is always important. They need
It
all the
is.
help. They need all the help they can get to that fifth
Well,
game.
I mean, yeah, but when you look at the grandes, a lot of them, they are getting that help already. So you have really strong teams, and that just makes it easier for them.
Yeah. All right, we'll see how.
So we can't hate on Mexico for having that advantage as well, Chiquis.
Yeah, that's good.
Come
I
on
don't.
now.
I agree. I just don't take the FIFA rankings too seriously, but
Oh,
they are important,
yeah.
like
Well,
you
I
said.
mean, no, yeah. I mean that doesn't mean Mexico's the 11th best.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that much stock into that. But as far as like trying to be one of the seeded teams, then yeah, I would
A-
definitely want them to finish. We
And so,
had a dude, friend of Yon, Michel. I can't pronounce his last
Richaud,
name. Huh?
Michel Richaud.
Yeah, there you go. And he was talking about because he did like a whole study on you know
Yeah, the
on how
rankings.
to get to that quinto partido and beyond.
Oh,
And that was one of the key points, you know, is to be seated. Like if you could be seated and then so he did a study of like, okay, what teams do you have to play to get seated or whatnot, which is really interesting. So see, Chiquis, you weren't paying attention in class that day.
yeah. Well, yeah. I
You're
mean, I knew
running.
the whole seeding things, but it's funny because people try to apologize for the Nations League tournament and
Well, it's giving.
say it's important
Well,
because
yeah,
Mexico
it's
needs it
it's
for
help.
FIFA. But there's still scrubs. You're still playing scrubs, even if you end up playing like it's still CONCACAF. You're playing
It
Costa
is.
Rica, Honduras.
It is.
So it's
But with Europe doing it, then you kind of have to do it too because
yeah,
then it's being seen as a tournament, you know?
it's just sort of a weak argument to say to qualify the legitimacy of Nations League. Like look, it's Nations League is really awesome. We uh
No,
we need to
but I mean they could still schedule. I mean, despite having to play that tournament, Mexico has scheduled some good games against some good opponents.
Yeah, like if you were to say, okay, let's not do Nations League and let's do like a type confederations every year, people would be like, oh no, Mexico's going to play against the top teams. We're not going to get wins. We're not going to, our rankings in FIFA are going to go down because we're not going to get wins. We need to play some scrubs so we can get wins and we could get points per the FIFA rankings and upper level.
Yeah,
The rankings, I think they do consider the opponent you're playing. So you're not going to get a ton of points for playing the ranked 98th player or team. If you play ranked number 98, you're not going to get tons of points as if you play and beat number 8. I think they take that into consideration, but yeah, it's sort of like let me fluff up my schedule with playing below 500 teams so I can impress everybody. Like I can impress people and give people the appearance that I'm really good. But yeah, I mean if it works out, I'm glad Mexico's at 11th, and hopefully they can get some good advantages for the World Cup. All right, Joel.
agreed, agreed.
All right, it's been good. Any last notes or thoughts?
Final thoughts? Nope, nope. We've done said it all, Chiquis. We've done said it all. Hopefully things return to normalcy in Liga MX. No more games being suspended due to shootouts or brawls, and
Yeah,
hope we get some good football this week.
let's put on a white shirt for peace or something. Going into the weekend, let's see what happens. And yeah, I think the audio issues are we're going to be pretty good on this episode, so hopefully we can do that moving forward. Last episode, not so much, but again, I'll check it out here in a minute. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for everyone for listening. I think we got a few listeners listen to us live. Hugo Sanchez, the poster, says hi on our Discord app, and check us out on the CantinaMX accounts everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Especially over the weekend during the games. We'll talk to you guys later. This is Albert Campanjuel, episode 221, CantinaMX Podcast.